Hi, I'm Emily. I'm going to be doing my TED Talk about the importance and the benefits of implementing yoga into the classroom. And I'm going to apologize in advance if you hear some weird noises. My neighbors are like rolling and like moving stuff around upstairs. I don't really know. But anyway, so we all know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We've all seen this pyramid 1,000 times probably. And if you haven't, it's essentially a pyramid of motivational things and like your needs. And it tells us that your needs in the level below have to be met before you can move on to the next level. And these levels include physiological needs, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So this tells us that in order for children to learn, all of their needs have to be met, and that includes emotional needs. So in the classroom, children's well-being should be emphasized. This can be in the form of mindfulness, nutrition, exercise, meditation, sleep, or a bunch of other things. So focusing on wellness in the classroom shows students that they themselves are the most important things, not school, not tests, not homework, not your sports outside, but the student themselves. And this is important to do in the classroom because students probably aren't going to take care of themselves on their own. They're not going to go home and be like, oh, I need to go practice mindfulness. I need to go do some yoga. I'm stressed out. That's just not going to happen. That's unrealistic. And and there is a chance that students might go home and their parents are not practicing these things so that they don't like get any experience seeing them. They're not going to watch their parents and learn from them if their parents aren't practicing these things, which is why it's important to do this in school. School's a great place to teach them because this is not only good for students' overall health, but it's also good for their learning, which means that if we learn about this in the classroom, students will be able to go home and take care of themselves better. And we will also, if we practice in the classroom, we'll be able to see the benefits of it. So regulating students' emotions, this helps with that. And we know the importance of social emotional learning in the classroom. And well, that could be a whole nother TED Talk about social emotional learning. So we're just gonna go with, we know that it's really important. So before I talk about the benefits of yoga itself and the benefits of yoga in the classroom, I'm going to start with, you're probably thinking, okay, how do you know this? That sounds cool and all, but how do we know this is true? Like, you could just make that up. There are actually a lot of studies done about yoga in the classroom and the benefits of it. And I chose this one particular study about a school called Edmonds Elementary School, which is a diverse inner city school in Iowa, where students practice yoga every day through a program called Yoga for Classroom. So here's some of the results that they've seen. Over 2 years of practicing daily yoga in the classroom, students' test scores have increased by more than 18%, and the number of students sent to the office for being in trouble has decreased by 2/3. And the principal of the school said that everyone feels a greater sense of community. So obviously it's worked really well for their school, and that's a really good thing. This is just one study, but there have been many, many studies done about the positive impacts of implementing yoga in the classroom, and there have been no negative results found. There's always positive results whenever yoga is implemented in the classroom. All right, so now I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of yoga itself. Yoga has countless benefits on the mind, body, and spirit. Some of the benefits on the physical body include motor development, neuromuscular development, strength and flexibility, balance and coordination, better posture, better digestion, better circulation. It strengthens the immune system and relaxes the body, which in turn promotes better sleep. And who wouldn't want that? We definitely all need more sleep in college. And some benefits that yoga has on the mind, it includes relieving tension and anxiety. It supports present awareness and being in the moment. It increases concentration, focus, and attention span, which there's probably a lot of teachers out there that are begging to increase their students' concentration and attention span. So that's a good thing for the classroom. It promotes executive function and memory. It stimulates auditory processing and responsiveness. Yoga improves the ability to think before acting, that's like a mindfulness technique, which is also good for younger students who probably don't think out their actions before doing. And yoga also expands imagination and creativity, which is good for students too. Yoga also has a lot of benefits on the spirit, including building self-awareness, confidence. It builds self-esteem, and it helps develop discipline and self-control. It supports individuality, and self-expression, and yoga helps cultivate respect and empathy and compassion for both self and others. And yoga supports a sense of universal connectedness, and it enhances emotional intelligence and social interactions. So there's obviously a lot of benefits to yoga, but that's not even all of them. That's just a short list, but there are even more than that. So now you're probably thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but how is that actually going to help in my classroom? Like, what is that actually going to look like? What is that going to help my students do better? So now I'm going to talk about the benefits of yoga in the classroom and how all of these positives of yoga translate into the classroom. So several studies have found that implementing yoga in the classroom has a positive impact on social emotional learning, which we know is very important. And students practice healthy ways to regulate their emotions and behaviors, improve their all-around awareness, and enhance their coping skills through yoga. Students are also able to learn better in the relaxed setting that yoga creates, and they're proven to have less pre-test anxiety and less anxiety and depression overall, which is definitely a good thing, especially in this day and age. You know that mental health problems are just on the rise. And many studies show that yoga also enhances cognition and improves academic performance. As we saw from the study earlier, it improved students' test scores by 18% over 2 years. Yoga can also help build a sense of community and a sense of calm and connectedness in the classroom, which is definitely always a good thing. We focus on building communities in our classrooms, and yoga can help that. It can also promote better behavior in the classroom, and it does so by providing opportunities for reflection and insight on oneself and on others. And yoga is also proven to enhance executive function with a combination of the neurological and cognitive benefits that we get from physical activity and exercise with mental focus and breathing exercises. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great and all, but I don't have time for that in my classroom. I don't have time to do yoga. It'll take up valuable learning time. I've got standards to meet, I've got lessons to teach. There's just no time for that. The whole day is packed. However, it is actually proven that the academic outcomes and benefits of yoga far outweigh the time lost to actually doing the yoga. So for example, if students have a big test coming up, it's far more valuable for them to do yoga for 10 minutes than it is for them to keep studying for an extra 10 minutes. Yeah, so it's actually not worth it. If you might think it's not worth it, it takes too much time, it's actually proven that it makes up for the time that it's spent in the classroom doing. So as we know, plenty of studies have told us that it is actually very valuable for this in the classroom, and it is definitely worth the time, and it helps students learning and all of those other amazing benefits I talked about before. They better perform academically than if they do yoga versus doing 10 more minutes of school or 20 more minutes of school. There's much better outcomes academically when yoga is done opposed to the extra 10 or 15 minutes of learning. So one final and huge benefit of yoga in the classroom is for us, for teachers, which is always a good thing because we know this is a hard profession. So many studies show that yoga correlates with positive outcomes for teachers, and these include increased calmness, mindfulness, and well-being overall, better sleep, better emotional regulation, and a more positive mood. And this also helps with improvements in the classroom management, which is also always a good thing. It lowers blood pressure and cortisol levels, and it decreases anxiety and stress. And this creates a positive atmosphere for both students and teachers, which in turn leads to a healthy learning and classroom environment, which also helps with better academic outcomes. So overall, yoga has countless benefits on a person, and is especially beneficial when implemented into the classroom on a regular basis. And that is my TED Talk about why we should do yoga in the classroom. Thanks!